What's cracking, lacking? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so we're back again. Once again, this time we're going over my linebacker rankings for the 2021 NFL Draft class. I'm going to give you my top 10. But if you're a Bro Scout tier member, you're going to get my full rankings. So, yeah, it's the best way to support the channel, and all support's much appreciated, much obliged. So if you want to become a member, get access to that full rankings list, then go ahead and do that. But go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. That's much appreciated. That is much obliged. These ranking videos are coming out, so be on the look for them. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get in. Let's talk linebackers. Micah Parsons, of course, he's number one, man. Some people, they're worried about the character red flags, and yes, those are a real concern. A lot of it stems from him being named in a lawsuit that was directed towards Penn State and James Franklin. The thing, he was named in it. A lot of grotesque things in there, but no witnesses. There was again, I'm sorry, burden of the proof, or burden of proof is against the accuser. There were no witnesses. No one could follow through with these accounts. It's just his word, unfortunately. So I feel like you kind of gotta throw that away. But again, it's still unsettling. You're still concerned. But with a guy that's as talented as him, the dude's a freak athlete in terms of size, explosiveness. He's just built different. So it really depends how much you're going to weigh that on his draft stock. I still would consider him a top 10 prospect, probably the best defensive prospect in this class. You can maybe make a case for one of the corners, but Micah Parsons, man, he's pretty darn good. He's a stout tackler. I know he opted out of 2020, but what we do have on tape, it's still pretty good, man. Eats blocks. He's just got great balance. He's shown that pass rushing upside when asked to blitz. He has 36 pressures and 8 sacks on only 135 pass rushing snaps. That's pretty phenomenal pass rush win rate. He may not be a playmaker in coverage, but by no means was he bad or was he a liability in coverage. There was only through his career, only 2 times did he allow over 50 yards in passing. So yeah, he's a solid prospect, man. At 6'3", 246, the way he tested out, some people, they're gonna have him different on their board. I'm not sold on the character concerns personally, but you might be. So again, I'll leave that to you. But number 2, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, JOK. The dude is the modern day linebacker. He is what the NFL is kind of moving towards. He's a smooth athlete, great short area quickness, explosiveness. He played a lot more in the slot in 2020. He was kind of a rover box safety-esque role in 2019, but the dude, he can play out in the slot. That's awesome. You can keep your linebacker on the field because he can play in the slot. That's phenomenal. It gives you some versatility with him. On top of that, man, he excelled in coverage for the last 2 seasons. He does play kind of at one speed, and that's very, very fast. You saw that Clemson game. He broke it in the backfield, basically met I think it was Travis Etienne there in the backfield to just to essentially intercept it, or I guess it counted as a fumble recovery, but basically caught the pitch, took it for a touchdown. But at times he does maybe out overrun on run plays, but man, dude's just a special talented team. I think teams are better prepared this year for guys like him. I feel like with Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Simmons last year, it took the Cardinals and the Panthers, took them a few games to really figure out what their role in that offense or in that defense would be. So there has to be a game plan how you want to utilize him, because you could utilize him as really a chess piece. I'm a big fan of JOK. Oh, then I've given in to the hype of Jamin Davis. To be fair, the dude, it's just his test numbers, man. They were ridiculous. He is what the NFL likes in linebackers. He be long, he be fast. He's got length, he's got speed. That can make that really really can make up for some deficiencies in just processing. Like he really eats up passing lanes just by being in the middle of the field. So again, man, his physical and athletic traits were just phenomenal on his pro day. Those were tested numbers of someone that goes in the first round. So I'm willing to take a shot on him in the late first round. He's got really good short area quickness, gets off blocks well, a lot of that because of the length, which is nice. Solid tackler. But at times I would say he plays real high. So oftentimes, like, if he does miss a tackle, it's because he's being knocked back, or if he does lose on a block, he's going high on it. You got that length, man. Get down, get that leverage. Not much experience in coverage just because he's a one-year starter, but it's good enough for me to take in the first round. So yeah, Jamin Day, I'm on the Davis train now. Choo choo. Xavien Collins coming here at number 4, another guy who had solid tested numbers there on his pro day. Amazing skill set for his size at 5'6". I think it was 259 he tested out at. It's got the length, the size. He's got movement skills. When asked to rush the passer, he was darn near unstoppable, but he was playing lower level competition. But again, dude, with that length, man, you get in the way of passing lanes. That's what defenses like nowadays. Tackle rate, though, not so great. It was 13.3% on his missed tackles. So a number you can't improve on that. That just comes with good coaching and technique. But a guy whose skill set I don't think will be valuable in every scheme. So I really think he's going to be scheme specific. So he may fall to the second round. I think the right situation, the team with the right situation will pick him up. And then I have a second round grade on Nick Bolton. Test numbers weren't great, but we already knew that. The dude, what he excels at, he's short, he's compact, but he can take on tackles. He can take on blockers. He's got elite processing speed. That's why, being a average athlete, he's not a liability in coverage. He's actually really good in coverage, man. He makes plays on the ball. He's a playmaker. I think he could be a starter from day one. I think he will be a solid linebacker in the league, man. I'm just gonna say that. Just because the tools aren't special, you don't know if this guy will truly be elite, but he's gonna be solid. He is gonna be a good part of your defense. But yeah, I mean, I will say this from his pro day testing, his length, he did come in bigger than his wingspan was much bigger than I anticipated, but it's still in that average range. So it's hard to justify a first round pick. It's just, you're going to get a good player. Like, he's probably the safest prospect in this class, or at least one of them. WalkTheMock.com. It is a live draft simulator where you can draft against real people in real time. We do this all, like, during our streams. We do mock drafts, and you could draft against the likes of me, because I know you think you're better than me. So come prove you're better than me with Walk the Mock. Links in the description below. You got to be a premium member to do a live draft with people. But if you use promo code BROSHMO, all caps, uppercase, then it gets you 20% off. So go ahead and do that. You can do it for the month. You can do it for the year. But yeah. And then at 6, Jabril Cox, dude. I love Jabril. He very, very good. He is a coverage linebacker through and through. I think he does have some pass rushing upside. It's just LSU didn't use him in that way. But they really just used him in coverage, and he was the most battle tested in college football last year. Like, he was getting targeted a ton, and he did fairly well. He's got great length. He mirrors tight ends relatively easy. His pro day will be coming up because I think he hurt his hamstring or something, and he couldn't participate in the pro day, so it got rescheduled till later. But I imagine his numbers will come back pretty good. I'm banking that he can rush the passer, just based on his North Dakota State film. But he did have a tough time playing against the run, at least in the SEC. So you couldn't question his play strength, but I think he was solid in that aspect at North Dakota State. So it might have just maybe just he needed maybe a bit more than just a season and half an off season to really become to be adjusted to that type of step up in competition. His skill set, his skill set, his ability, it's not going to set the world on fire. But again, this guy, his tools, they're good enough for me, man. He's going to be a solid linebacker. And then going to the third round, I got Chaz Surratt out of North Carolina State. Sideline to sideline athlete. Just the dude plays fast. Each play through and through. He's a long athlete, and he really wreaked havoc in the backfield in 2020. But it was more so like on stunts, he was an opportunist. And I said this about Troy Dye in 2019. It's not like he can't take on blockers. And you could tell that in the run game. He was terrible in the run game, and it's easy to anticipate that. He's only 6'2", 229, but he did see a big improvement as a tackler, I'll say that. So I'd rather keep him in the second level rather than, coming up to make a play, letting the play come to him. He did have a knack for the big play and coverage, but he still has got a long way to go. He's a former quarterback, keep in mind, that converted to linebacker. Was in his second full season there at linebacker, so still a bit of a learning curve for him. Still a bit of development is necessary. But Chaz Surratt, I think, could be a solid linebacker in the league. And then I have Baron Browning out of Ohio State. I honestly think he's an edge, man. I'm telling you, I think he's an edge. Like, he looks more like an edge rusher than a pass rusher. You could tell from his testing, his size, his speed. They're kind of freakish. Like, he's an edge, dude, with his length. I would put him at edge. But he does have some off-ball experience, but that is where he struggled. He kind of struggled to do linebacker things at Ohio State. I would say he's still putting it together, though. Like, if you want him to be off-ball, I think you could eventually get a solid player there. But again, dude, I think his bread and butter is on the edge, man. Like, when targeted in coverage, he allowed passer rating of 121.5, along with an 84.2% catch rate. Not good. Like, he's good versus the run too. The dude's an edge. I think he's an edge. So I'd be willing to go in the third round on this edge talent. Linebacker next, 9, Monty Rice. Another guy I think could be a solid player. He's putting it together in terms of being a processor. The game's still slowing down for him. So he's got a bit of a ways there, but he's very good in the run game. Very sure tackler. His missed tackle rate was under 6%, so very good. Sideline to sideline athlete. I just expect more plays and coverage from him eventually. While he's fast, he is athletic, he's not lengthy. So typically that's why you see Jamin Davis go so high. He long, he fast. Monty Rice just fast. He ain't long. But I think once the game starts slowing down for him, I think he'll definitely take a step up. That's why third round, I think I'd be as high as you go with him. And then number 10, unless you're a Bro Scout tier member, then stay with me. I have Peter Werner out of Ohio State. Dude is just a solid linebacker. And I'll say this, his testing, way better than I expected. Because he does not look like this type of athlete on film. I'm just going to say that. I think part of that could have been what was asked of him. Ohio State, their scheme is really known to be very linebacker friendly. They don't ask much of their linebackers. But still, that type of pro day was exceptionally impressive. He was average in coverage. He didn't really react well underneath to slots, tight ends, and any of that underneath. It was almost given away for free. But he is a 3-year starter. I think he's got a bit of a limited ceiling. But I mean, with those testing results, you got to think, man, there's something you can maybe unearth that are very impressive. So I I could see him going off the board in the 3rd round. Currently 4th round grade, I would take him maybe at the beginning of day 3. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.